Chapter 14. The Still Point. Rest as a form of knowing. There is a kind of quiet that does not depend on silence. It is not the blankness left when all sound has gone, nor the stillness that comes from freezing the body in place. It is the settling of something within you, a pause that carries weight without heaviness. This is the still point, the place where the need to act, react, or explain loosens its grip, and where the body remembers itself without interference. It is less a location you travel to than a space that opens when you stop leaning forward into the next thing. You might come to it without warning, in the seconds after laughter fades, when the echo of it still hangs in the air, in the breath between one task and the next, in the pause before you speak. It does not ask you to stop what you are doing. It asks only that you notice those moments when nothing is being demanded from you. The still point is not a retreat from life. It can live in kitchens as much as in quiet gardens, in the shade of a tree, in a crowded train carriage, or in the slow hum of a waiting room. It is not about escaping to a better place, but about arriving fully where you already are. In the Ghosts movement, the still point is not an achievement to be earned. It is a recognition, something already present, simply made visible when you allow it to be what it is. It is the steady centre around which movement continues, the ground from which knowing arises without effort. This is not a break in life's thread, but a way of being inside it differently. It makes no demands for progress or improvement, yet it holds a kind of understanding that constant movement rarely finds. The rest it offers is not inert. It is active in its attentiveness, alive in its capacity to sense without rushing toward a conclusion. Much of the time, knowing is presented as something to be won through thinking, studying, or doing. The still point challenges that idea. It says there is another way to know, by letting the moment remain whole without interference. This knowing is not deduced, it is felt. It is not a theory written down, but a sense that settles in the body. When you rest into the still point, you are not stepping away from the world. You are meeting it without agenda, allowing it to arrive as it is. Your mind may release its habit of shaping and categorizing, and in that release, perception becomes clearer. The body recognizes this place before the mind does, in the pause after the breath leaves you, in the way your shoulders ease, in the gentle quiet that moves through the nervous system. Here, you sense more fully, not because you are trying harder, but because you are no longer in the way. In the Ghost movement, rest is not an interruption to presence. It is one of the ways presence holds itself steady. It is where memory rises without being pulled, where feeling finds its own form, and where the unseen can be felt. The still point does not require your attention to exist, but when you live with it, you begin to trust that what is understood here is as true, and sometimes truer, than what you gather in the noise. The still point is not only an idea, the body knows how to enter it. You might notice it as your weight settles evenly on your feet after a walk, or in the slow stirring of tea, or the rhythm of a rocking chair. These small anchors make it tangible. They remind you that this is not an imagined state, but a lived experience. Sound can be part of it. The hum of a fridge, the creak of a chair, the rhythm of your heartbeat, all can serve as doorways. You do not need to quiet the world to rest in it. You can let the sounds pass through you without catching on them. This is resting with rather than resting from, and it is what allows the still point to stay present in the midst of everyday life. Memory often comes into these moments uninvited. A scent may drift in, a face may appear in your mind, a gesture from years ago might return. In the still point, such memories are not picked apart or analysed. They are simply allowed to arrive and remain like guests who need no explanation. Over time, you begin to recognise the signs that you are entering this place, the way your jaw softens, the way your hands go still, the way time seems to stretch just slightly. You do not need to schedule it. You can weave it into the quiet corners of your days. It can also be shared. Sitting next to someone without speaking can form a shared still point, a centre that holds you both. These moments need no conversation. They are carried in the breath, in the way bodies find the same rhythm without planning it. In the Ghost movement, embodiment keeps the still point from turning into an abstract idea. It is kept alive through gestures, postures, and rhythms that the body remembers even when the mind forgets. The more these moments are honoured in the body, the more they arrive on their own, steady, quiet, and without demand. It does not require new rituals or extra tasks. It asks you only to notice the invitations already there, the pause before the kettle boils, the breath before answering a question, the moment at a window before moving on. These are the still point's natural openings. You can meet them in ordinary ways. Rest your hands on a table and feel their weight. Let your eyes soften when they have nothing to fix on. Set down your pen between sentences. Wait for a few heartbeats before replying to a message. These pauses do not need to be long, only real. If pausing feels difficult, the body can lead the way. Place a hand over your chest and feel its rise and fall. Wrap your fingers around a warm cup and let the heat seep in. Sensation can return you to the present without any demand for stillness. The still point can move with you. Walking slowly, rocking a child to sleep, or swaying to music can all create a moving stillness, one that steadies you while the world carries on. Rest and action are not always opposed. By giving space to these moments, you live with a quiet readiness. You are not stepping back from life, but becoming more available to it. Over time, the still point becomes less a place to visit, and more a companion that walks beside you. It is not a destination to be reached and left behind. Once recognized, it travels with you, even into noise, pressure, or uncertainty. It is a reminder that there is always a center, even when the edges of life feel thin. To carry it is to trust that calm can remain beside urgency without disappearing. The still point does not take away the demands of life, but it steadies you as you meet them. You may find yourself slower to speak, more patient in choosing, more anchored when the world pushes you to scatter. Leaving this chapter, you carry not an instruction, but the memory of being whole in one unbroken moment. In the next chapter, we will explore how boundaries and thresholds give shape to this presence and how they influence the way it is shared.